There's a real scrap there between the two captains, Son for Spurs and Yates for Forest, but there's a foul against the South Korean, and Tottenham will get us back underway, but it's given away and just rolled back to Matt Turner. He'll clear down pitch for Forest. Steve Cooper sticking by the American in his starting lineup. Replaced Odysseus Vlachimodos last weekend against Wolves. He was first choice at the start of the season, Turner, after joining from Arsenal, but a run of indifferent form forced a change, and Cooper has changed again. And here come Tottenham back in possession. Ben Davies, one of those players who've been drafted in by Ange Postecoglou due to the defensive crisis or injury crisis in the defence that's been experienced for Tottenham in recent weeks. Mickey van der Ven out until March, based on the latest estimate. Son just dropping deep on the left-hand side. He fizzes that one across to Christian Romero, who'll advance forward, find Kulusevski, and that's in behind to Son. Can he find a shot? Son, saved by Turner. Really important intervention from the Forest goalkeeper there. Great bit of interplay from Tottenham on the edge of the Nottingham Forest box, and Son just burst in behind Nico Williams. Turner was out quickly to make the block, and he needed to be alert to the situation to prevent a setback for Forest, which would certainly be not what Steve Cooper would want. Possible suggestion of offside in the build-up as the ball was played around the corner to Son. I think VAR might have had a check at it if it had found its way into the back of the net, but saved by Turner. Little warning sign of what Son Heung-min can do. Took his Premier League tally to 10 goals last weekend. That's matched his Premier League haul from last season. Obviously no Harry Kane alongside him anymore in this Spurs front line, but he's keeping up his side of the bargain and scoring goals and being a real leader in Ange Postecoglou's side. Incidentally, Kane was the scourge of Forest last season. Tottenham winning both games when Forest found their way back into the Premier League. 3-1 win and a 2-0 win. Kane knocking in 4 of those 5 goals, but he's no longer an option for Postecoglou. Tottenham again just bossing proceedings here. Romero and Davies, the only 2 players back on the halfway line, linking up and going direct into the feet of Richarlison. He'll feed that out to Pape Sarr on the right hand side. Just checks in field to Pedro Porro. Sarr is eventually forced back by the Forest press. Tottenham will come again. Romero into East Bissouma. Nice and calm from Tottenham as Davies looks to knock that one long. Again, Son the target. He'll look to battle away with Nico Williams, but former Liverpool man sticks to his task and eventually a bit too over-eager with his challenge, and that'll be a free kick to Spurs. Promising position for the visitors to get this one into the box. Williams had a little nibble at Son there and was led away the first time, but Jared Gillet immediately whistled after the second challenge, and this is right on the left-hand corner, or the right-hand corner I should say, the Nottingham Forest box. To be a one-man wall for Forest. Pedro Porro will come across from right back to deliver this. Now, can this be an opening for Spurs? How will Nottingham Forest deal with this? Porro's going to load this one into the box. Turner's already in an advanced position if he needs to come and clear, but it's whipped in by Porro, headed away by Ryan Yates. That'll be chased down by Alanga as he tries to get Forest upfield, but Tottenham immediately swarm on him. Bissouma to Davies. Based on the early passing, Forest happy to sit in, let Tottenham have plenty of possession and potentially hit them on the counter-attack with Gibbs-White and Alanga. Gibbs-White's big night, of course. Century of Premier League appearances for the Nottingham Forest number 10, but it's a difficult start to the Premier League season for him. Just 1 goal and 2 assists. Forest fans know that he needs to get back on song if they're to dig themselves out of what is a difficult situation. As Williams again up against Son. Clearance comes off Son and bounces over the sideline. Son was claiming the last touch came off a Forest player, but it's a throw in to the home team. One little bit of positivity for Forest in this difficult run that they've had is that they've only failed to score in one of their last 7 Premier League games. So despite issues over picking up points, they've not been shy in putting the ball at the back of the net. So that will be something for Steve Cooper and his players to build on. But so far, it has been all one-way traffic here in Nottingham. 7 minutes gone on Flash Score UK. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 0. It's great work there by Ryan Yates, just a battle with Destiny Udogie and win a throw-in the right back spot for Nottingham Forest. Williams will leave that for Willy Bolly. You imagine we'll look to launch this one into Tottenham territory. It's a midfield scrap lost out by Anthony Elanga, who's dropping in, trying to help out with Orion Mangala, but Bissouma wins it and Spurs will look to spring again. Switched across to Son, but he's matched by Nico Williams. That's been the key battle so far for sure. Williams against Son, and it's always difficult in a 3-5-2 knowing who picks up certain players, and Williams and Bolly need to have a conversation, make sure they're on the same page, because Son Heung-min in that position is one of the most threatening players in the Premier League if he's given the space. Turner will get Forest back underway from the free kick from that offside against Son. And it's fired downfield in the direction of Elanga, but Romero will mop up and give Vicario his first touch of the evening. That's almost played short, but Pape Sarr just steps in and then he gives it away, and Forest have a half chance here on the edge of the Tottenham box if they can find a pass. It's Elanga onto Toffolo on the overlap on the left. Toffolo clips it in, headed away by Ben Davies. Steadying influence in the heart of the Tottenham defence, the Welsh international. Bissouma will complete the job for Spurs, but he couldn't quite feed that one into Brennan Johnson on halfway. Gibbs White with a little hand in his hair to his Forest teammates, apologising for that one. He could have made something off it from Anthony Elanga, but wasn't really on the same wavelength. But here come Forest again. There's Nikate losing out on the far side. Sarr will pick up the loose ball and look to get Tottenham forward. Nikate not happy with that tussle with Pape Sarr. He wanted a free kick, but it's a throw into Spurs on halfway. Home form, you imagine moving into 2024, whether or not Steve Cooper is still in position will be essential for Nottingham Forest. It was so important for them in the back end of last season in keeping in the Premier League. Well, they've lost their last 2 home games against Everton and Brighton, and that ended a really strong 18-game Premier League unbeaten run here at the City Ground, and Cooper knows just how vital it is to have the home fans on side and pushing in the same direction. Well, nothing seems to be going right for Forest right now. Here comes Tottenham down the left. Son is forced inside. Ryan Yates stepping across to help out Nico Williams. With Davies, looks to square in field to Pape Sarr, midway inside the Nottingham Forest half. Back to Davies. He'll spray it over to the left. Son will look to get a run at Williams here down the side of the Nottingham Forest box. It's bounced back to Son, but Willy Bolly will get across and cover. And aimed up to Gibbs White. It's a nice touch from Gibbs White and spins away from Bissouma. Brilliant back heel there to release Mangala. Mangala's ball just half a yard behind Harry Toffolo, and he's forced backwards. Forest will switch play again. Back across to Nico Williams. They'll find Murillo. Brazilian centre-back's been really important for Forest in recent weeks, and it'll be important again tonight, you'd imagine. Here's Son looking to tiptoe into the box. Smartly cut out there by Nikate on the cover, but Son will come again. Just to feed that one out wide to Pedro Porro. Porro is claiming a throw after a little nick off Oriol Mangala, and he'll get it. Son couldn't quite sort his feet out in time to get a decent shot away there, but the Forest backline quick to slam the door. Porro will get us restarted over on the far right hand side. But he's settled into his role this season, Pedro Porro. Ange Postecoglou more than happy with his fullback's performance. Destiny Udogie on the other side. Italian international netted his first ever Tottenham goal last weekend, a 4-1 win over Newcastle. And with no James Maddison in the team, Pedro Porro is number one, or joint number one, for assists. 5 Premier League assists from right back. Really important part of what Postecoglou is trying to do here this season, and the sooner those players return from injury, the sooner you imagine Tottenham will click back into gear. But for now, you just need to try and build on that victory from last weekend. Here's Romero just shouting at the Spurs players in front of him, asking for an option to pass out from the back, but Forest are plugging the gaps and making sure there's no easy ball. He just plays that out left to Davies. 2 Tottenham centre-backs just playing a little bit of keep ball here as players higher up try and make their runs. Davies will go long this time, aimed up towards Richarlison, but that's well dealt with by Nikati. Richarlison will battle away there. Pedro Porro will pick up the loose ball. Now Johnson, a chance to run at Toffolo down the right, delivered in, cleared away again by Forest, but Basuma will fight for that on the edge of the box, loses out to Bolly. Now Bolly will try and switch it upfield, but Anthony Elanga is all alone up there, and Davies and Romero will be confident at dealing with those types of long driven balls out of defence. Both strong in the air, and it's not really Anthony Elanga's natural game. Likes the ball along the ground, show his speed, close control. But when you're in a poor patch, manager does often go for slightly more conservative tactics, and you just have to make do. I mean, that is the message from Steve Cooper at the moment. Just anything will do to get a win on the board and get some momentum going before the end of 2023. There's Davies again for Spurs. He's heavily involved for the visitors so far, and he'll look to storm forward down that left hand side and feed in Son, but Son's trapped by Williams. Feed that infield to Pedro Porro. Now over to Pape Sarr on the right hand side. Dummies to go past Toffolo, but Forest left wing back stands him up and he slips it back into Porro. Now Johnson, can he find a ball across the box? Wayward effort from the former Forest man. Richarlison and Son both making a dart inside the 18-yard box, but he got his angles all wrong and it's blazed over the top. Forest fans with just a show of support already for Steve Cooper. There's banners being waved in various points in the ground, just reminding the Forest manager that he is supported, that they do believe he is the man to turn things around. Will he be given the chance? You'd imagine by full time this evening we'll have a slightly clearer idea of that. Here comes Spurs again. It's East Bissouma dropping very deep to pick that one up off Pedro Porro. Now Davies again. He's almost playing as a central midfielder so far. He finds Kulusevski, who'll whip that one in low from the left hand side, but it's cleared away. Kulusevski will try and fail to keep that one in. Good work from Ryan Yates there to shut out the Sweden international, make sure he couldn't recycle the loose ball and give Forest another problem to deal with. Bolly restarts things for Forest. That's a hurled throw, but it's dealt with by East Bissouma. Bolly will try again from halfway on the Forest right. Yates is the target, but That was a foul in the opinion of the referee, just barged over Yves Bissouma, and I think that was the right call. Didn't make enough of an attempt to try and win the header. Nottingham Forest captain. There's a quick back to front there from Spurs to try and get Richarlison away, and Johnson almost latched onto his knockdown, but behind for a Forest goal kick. It's clearly a game plan that from Ange Postecoglou. Wants to get Johnson in the space between Toffolo and Nikate, and Son raided in between Williams and Bolly. That will then obviously open up space for Richarlison, Dejan Kulusevski to cause havoc, but Forest have stemmed the tide a little in the last few minutes, and no real chances since that one from Son right in the first minute. Forest will win that second ball from the free kick by Turner. Gibbs White loses out to Davies. He's not happy with that one, the Forest number 10. Felt that was a throw-in for Forest, but referee disagrees. Destiny Udogie will take responsibility here for Tottenham. Left hand side, edge of his own 18-yard box. The Italian international goes for a risky one in field to Richarlison. A touch of fortune there for the Brazilian. He was caught by Oriol Mangala, and I think if he hadn't been fouled, Forest might have been in. Tottenham are in now as Udogie storms forward onto Son. Tries to cut it back across the box for Johnson, but Nico Williams deals with that. Looks for Gibbs White, finds Gibbs White. Now Forest have got a 2-on-2 here as he pops that onto Elanga, on into the box. Anthony Elanga with a shot, saved by Vicario. That is the threat that Nottingham Forest do have on the counter-attack. Offside flag delayed, flashes up. Anthony Elanga wasn't to know that. Vicario certainly wasn't to know that. And Forest have fired a warning shot to Tottenham. Anthony Elanga just a little bit too keen on his run in behind Ben Davies, but he went on and on and on. He got a good angle to ensure that Christian Romero couldn't get back across at him. Effort was straight at Vicario, but it was a really strong save from the Italian. Gibbs White and Elanga will be buoyed by that one, you'd imagine. There is a way in behind this Spurs defence if Forest can find a gap, find the penetration that they need. Now Son looking to deliver that in low from the left hand side, but it's cut out by Forest, and Bissouma will just bundle into Ryan Yates. Free kick to Forest, give them a chance to reset. 20 minutes gone here at the City Ground, still 0-0. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 0. On Flash Score UK, as always, you download the Flash Score app, you can keep up to date with all the statistics and key information from this game, and there'll be a match report all ready as soon as the full-time whistle blows. Now here come Tottenham again it's Romero just strolling out defence, calling on his midfield players to give him something to aim at. Finds Sarr and Porro, but Forest force Sarr back into his own half, and he'll switch over to the left now to Davies. Tottenham fullback so advanced. Udogie and Porro are high and wide on the left hand side for Tottenham, just making sure that Williams and Toffolo have got something to deal with. Davies will jog over the halfway line. He finds Son, that's a nice ball in field to Richarlison. Bolly gets back at him and wins that one. Mangala gives it away. Picked up by Destiny Udogie. Just again forced to go backwards. Udogie, he was in an advanced position from left back, almost level with the 18-yard line, but he was shut out by the Palace defence. Palace happy to let Davies and Romero have possession. They know that they keep Spurs well away from their goal. They haven't got an opportunity to force a way through, pick a gap, to slip in Kulusevski or Richarlison, and so far so good in that sense for Steve Cooper. Tottenham, has to be said, generally do find a way through away from home, as Yates looks to gamble on a mistake there in the Tottenham midfield, but Romero does well to get back and clear that one up. That was a chance for Forest. Really well read by Ryan Yates. He sensed the loose ball in between Sarr and Basuma. Romero did what he needed to do. Just touching back on that Tottenham away form. Joint top of the away Premier League goals table so far this season, with 18 alongside Manchester City, and they're also joint top on the away form Premier League table. Just one away defeat, level with Liverpool. Incidentally, it was Spurs who handed out that away defeat to Liverpool. Tottenham's loss on the road coming at Wolves. Not something Steve Cooper will want to hear, but based on the opening 24 minutes here at the City Ground, he'll be relatively content, you'd imagine. The zip and drive from Elanga and Gibbs-White means that they'll still be in with a chance if that defensive line can hold Tottenham at bay. Here's Son looking to dart away from Nico Williams down the left. Just checks inside again, Son. Williams and Yates seem to have worked on that in the last few minutes, making sure they're doing everything they can to nullify Son. Kulusevski will try and trickle his way through on the other side, and that falls kindly inside the box for Brennan Johnson, and Matt Turner got across, made the save. Brennan Johnson, just the one Premier League goal to his name so far this season. He was aware to the possibility of that just squirting in his direction. Dejan Kulusevski did really well on that right hand side, kept it alive. Johnson with the toe poke. Murillo couldn't get there in time, and that's a good stop from Matt Turner. Pedro Porro will go across to take the corner. Two important saves from Turner so far here. That was an awkward one to get across, but he did well. Strong hand, made sure Johnson's homecoming has not so far featured a goal. But they've got a set piece to defend here, Forest. As Porro looks to deliver it in, it's headed over the top by Ben Davies. He was not really in a great position there. He delayed getting off the ground, but he got a good contact on it. Never really in a position to trouble Matt Turner. Plenty of Forest bodies in the way to make sure it wasn't really going to drop on target. Turner again with the long goal kick. Williams wins that header. Well done by the Welsh international to get there in front of a doggy, but he's tussling with the Spurs number 38 again. Ryan Yates steps in to lend hand, and they eventually win the throw. Doggy wanted a free kick, felt that he was doubled up on there by Yates and Williams, but referee Jared Gillette disagrees. He's actually opted for a free kick. Oh no, beg your pardon, it is a throw-in. There was a bit of discussion there between Jared Gillette and his assistant referee. He's gone for a throw-in, but with Willy Bolly on duty, not too dissimilar to a throw-in, to a free kick. He's going to give this one to Moussa Nikate. There's another change from Forest. Bolly, throw-in specialist, gives that to another throw-in specialist. Spurs deal with it. Bounces around in the Tottenham box, and Vicario is forced into action. Yates blocked away by Romero. How did Nottingham Forest not deal with that? Flag up in the end for offside in the box, but Chet Kouyaté with a half chance. And then Ryan Yates swung a leg at it, and it was Ben Davies who got across and made the block. That might have been a play by Forest. Initially Bolly going over seemingly that he was going to take the throw, then swap for Nikate. Bolly causing havoc in the box. Chet Kouyaté almost turning that home. Vicario didn't do well with it, but ultimately Tottenham scramble clear, and Forest again showing they do possess a bit of bite if they get the opportunity. It's a long one, knocked downfield in the direction of Elanga, but Romero will get across and deal with that quite comfortably. Finds Davies inside the Spurs box, pops that off to the right hand side to Porro, but Toffolo will win it back. Try and fire that one across the box to Gibbs-White, but Romero is there again. Better this from Forest. Another throw-in over on the left-hand side this time. Nikate again, giving the ball a little drive before he prepares to catapult this one into the Tottenham box. Bolly up from the back, Murillo up from the back from Forest. This is something the home side are going to try and exploit. Nikate just throws that one in, headed on by Bolly. Drops for Elanga, blocked by Destiny Udogie. Richarlison battling away there with Bolly, and Forest keep this one alive, but high wide and not so handsome in the end. Another half chance for the home side. And there is an injury here to Brennan Johnson. There was bodies crashing into each other inside the Spurs box as that throw-in came in. Johnson is down. His former Forest teammates leading the calls for the Tottenham medical staff to be called on. We'll just have to wait a moment to get an update on Brennan Johnson. He is in pain. Ange Postecoglou with a concerned expression on the sideline. Both sets of players just taking this opportunity to have a little break. Son Heung-min chatting to some of his teammates, making sure that they are aware of what they need to do when play restarts. Whether or not that will include Brennan Johnson or not remains to be seen. He's sitting up now and speaking with the Spurs medical staff, which is a positive sign, of course. Concussion protocols taking place, just ensuring that he's okay, but Ange Postecoglou obviously won't take any risks. He's potentially going to make a change here. Oliver Skipp is stripped and ready to come on. That would indicate that the word is that Brennan Johnson is not able to continue, but no confirmation just yet. This does look as a point of concern. He is talking to the Spurs physios, but there's not been any great change in his condition. It's only moving slightly. Seems to be caught in the face by a loose arm in the melee in the Spurs box. I imagine there'll be some concern amongst the home fans for Brennan Johnson as well. Welsh international, such a crucial player for them, as you mentioned at the start of the game, in their promotion campaign from the Championship in 2021-22. Top scorer as the East Midlands side made their return to the top flight. The signs look that his return to the City Ground will be cut short on the half-hour mark. It looks as if it is going to be Oliver Skipp that is drafted in as a replacement. That might be a tactical tweak from Ange Postecoglou. Skipp, a central midfielder by trade. Potentially Kulusevski shuffled out to the right hand side to fill in for Johnson, and Skipp in a central midfield role, or maybe an advanced midfield role in front of Sarr and Bissouma. Johnson is now back on his feet. We're just waiting an update here to see whether Postecoglou is going to make the call. It certainly didn't seem, or doesn't still seem, that he will be continuing. An ice pack on his head, and he's looks in some distress. Former teammate Morgan Gibbs-White just giving a show of support for him there as he makes his way off the pitch, and that is the end of Brennan Johnson's night. Oliver Skipp coming on as his replacement. Forest fans are showing their appreciation for their former striker. There's a concern for him. He's covered in blood from that blow to the head. Skip will come on and Jared Gillett will get us back underway here at City Ground. 33 minutes gone. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 0 on Flash Score UK. That injury to Johnson, you'd imagine, will mean an extended period of added time at the end of the first half. But we've still got a long way to go before then. So Tottenham get us back underway. Here's Davies. Links up with Udogie in the left-hand side of the Spurs defence, but that's picked off by Bolly, and Gibbs White tried to get away from Davies, goes down inside the box. It's a half-hearted appeal for a penalty from the Forest number 10. Jared Gillett unmoved. Tottenham come again. Here's Bissouma on halfway for the visitors, back with Davies. Now Sarr. We're just trying to gauge exactly where Oliver Skipp has been asked to go by Ange Postecoglou, because when Tottenham are in possession, Udogie and Porro are so high and almost playing in default central midfield positions. So Skipp, I think, will just drop into an anchoring role alongside Bissouma. It might be Sarr that's given the greater licence to get forward and cover on that right-hand side in place of Johnson. It's a good hustle over on the right-hand side for Nottingham Forest, just in front of the Tottenham box, and it'll be a throw-in to the home team. We all know what that means. Nakate thinking of his inner Rory Delap, if he can cause a problem for Tottenham here. There was certainly issues for them off the last throw-in. Here's Nakate. Bolly the target again. Sarr clears that. Pedro Porro will complete the job, and that's bounced nicely for Dejan Kulusevski on halfway. He's brought down. Immediately waves at the referee, but Jared Gillett says no free kick. As Gibbs White looks to get in behind Davies here, that is a free kick. Just a bit too aggressive. He's itching to try and win that off Ben Davies and cause a situation where he'd have a shot at goal, but canny operator Ben Davies just got his body in the way inside his own box and made sure that Gibbs White had little choice but to foul him. We're just being shown the replay of the Davies Gibbs White part 1 from a few minutes ago. Very little in it in terms of a possible penalty shout. I think Davies knew that. He did extend his hand out and thought, with cameras and replays, he didn't want to be seen shirt pulling, and immediately let Gibbs White go. I think that's probably saved him from a investigation from the referee. But Tottenham come again here with Son down the left hand side. Williams once more forcing him in field. Well, Tottenham will build back down there again. Davies back to Son. Opts for the cross into the box this time. That was very, very close to being knocked down by Pedro Porro, who made the late burst from midfield. Got there in front of Nakate, but wasn't really able to time his run exactly as he would have liked to. Great ball in from Son. Spotted the gap between Nakate and Murillo. That would have been something if the diminutive figure of Pedro Porro had beaten Moussa Nakate to a header inside his own box, but it wasn't too far away from happening. Forest will go direct again. Gibbs White wins that one. Yates wins the second ball. But it's a free kick to Forest. Oliver Skipp's first involvement is to go crunching in on Yates. Brave challenge from the Forest skipper there. He knew he was going to get hurt. Skipp was dashing back to help out his defenders and does catch Ryan Yates. I think both of them have hurt themselves in the challenge. And the referee's going to take his time over this and decide which direction the free kick is actually going to go in. I think it is in Forest's favour. He's slightly unfortunate that for Oliver Skipp. He made the initial foul, but Ryan Yates certainly left one on him. Toffolo will take the free kick midway inside the Spurs half, lofted in towards the far post to Bolly. Combination of Son and Richarlison will try and get this away. Williams back in. Really important header at the far post there by Pedro Porro. Son with the loose clearance. Bissouma will try and mop up, but he's challenged by Murillo. Kept in by Yates. Forest causing a few problems for Spurs here as we tick into the final 10 minutes of the first half. Gibbs-White with the drive from 25 yards, but it was never on target. Always drifting wide of Vicario's right-hand post. There's good pressure there from Oliver Skipp on Gibbs-White. They've stayed in the game, Nottingham Forest. Reduced Tottenham to just a couple of chances. Turner saving from Son and Johnson prior to his departure, and that header from Pedro Porro just a moment ago would have had Turner scrambling. Here's Romero for Spurs, just a few yards inside his own half. Feeds that over the halfway line to Porro, but Forest press arrives and it's knocked all the way back through to Vicario. Davies with the switch over to the right hand side now, aiming for Kulusevski, but Toffolo will get there first and win a goal kick for Forest. Stuck to his task there, the Nottingham Forest left back. He was the goal scoring hero last weekend, of course, against Wolves. The first goal in 3 Premier League games for Steve Cooper's team. And he's been a very important player for them so far this season, both defensively and in attack. We do have a little bit of celeb spotting in the stands this evening. Everton manager Sean Dyche in attendance, keeping an eye on potential future opponents. Big game for him this weekend. Everton away at Burnley, his return to Turf Moor. Spurs on the agenda for the Toffees before the end of 2023. Everton heading to North London on December the 23rd, so he'll be keeping an eye on Ange Postecoglou's players this evening. It'd be interesting to see how they defend these long throws, which Forest have got themselves another one halfway inside the Tottenham half on the right hand side. Nikate's had half a thought to go for a short throw. Nico Williams raced out for the quick one, but he's going to stick to type, go long to Bolly. Romero wins the first one and Davies hammers that one clear. Forest will come again though, looking to force their way into the Tottenham area. Porro with the clearance. He was caught there. Referee waves play on as Tottenham look to go forward here. Son, he's got a bit of space here if he can get past Chep Kouyaté. Does well there to feed Richarlison, but Bolly gets back and blocks off Son. Nice turn there from Williams to get away from Oliver Skipp. Composed stuff from the Forest right back and almost made it up to Gibbs-White with the clearance. Davies gets there first for Tottenham. 40 minutes gone, still no goals on Flashscore UK. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 0. Steve Cooper signed 1 Premier League win in their last 12 games. Well, based on the opening half, almost here, they've equipped themselves very, very comfortably. Tottenham back on winning track last weekend against Newcastle, of course, but Ange Postecoglou's injury list is a major concern. He has said that he's written his note to Santa already. Surprise, surprise. That is that he wants to see more players back in training and off the treatment table. Here's Porro for Spurs, looking to try and create something before the break down the right hand side. He finds Kulusevski, drifts in field, gets away from Toffolo, but Murillo gets there first and clears up to halfway. Tottenham looking to inject a bit of speed into things now. The doggy feeds that one down the left to Son, who's stood up by Williams and forced back inside. He's forced to sweep that one all the way back onto halfway to Romero. Really solid opening half from Nico Williams up against Son Heung-min. Just that one chance in the opening 60 seconds that Son forced to save from Matt Turner, but since then it's been the Forest number 7 that's come out on top. Another test between the two of them there, but Turner is quick off his line to help out Williams this time. Son was offside, referee indicating that there was no need for a flag. I think we're going to have another offside here on a Forest perspective as Yates tries to get in behind Udogie. The benefit of the doubt for the Forest player there because there was a foul from Udogie, and it'll be a book in for the Tottenham left back and a free kick to Forest in a very promising position. I think Ryan Yates is a little fortunate there because he seemed to be offside when he made the run. Udogie does catch him, but when the linesman flag went up, the assumption was that it was going to be for the offside, but the foul deemed to be the greater offence, and there's a card for Destiny Udogie. Now Gibbs White will have a chance to whip this one into the box from the Forest right hand side. Just over 2 minutes of normal time remaining before the break. Gibbs White, that's really important header from Ben Davies. Great delivery from Gibbs White right on the Tottenham 6-yard line, but Davies was there with the header. Tottenham potentially looking to push for a goal before the break. I don't think Ange Postecoglou will be too concerned if the score is goalless at half-time. He knows that his team are more than capable of scoring away from home. We could see a breakthrough in the second period, but here come Tottenham before the break. Son on the edge of the box. Can he tries to wind up a shot, but that was a fine block there from Ryan Yates. Flung himself in front of the ball to make sure Son couldn't get a shot away. Real body on the line stuff from the Nottingham Forest captain. As Kulusevski looks to tiptoe his way down the right hand side, but he's checked. Back to Porro now with Kulusevski down on the right hand byline, but it's a throw in. Musa Nikate gets across, wins the ball. Ryan Yates back on his feet after that block. He certainly felt the full force of that one. Kulusevski just trying to roll his way past Nikate, but Murillo backs him up and makes the clearance. Very important that Forest get to half-time with the score as is. We all eyes on Peter Barnes in just a moment as we check to see how much time added on. The Johnson injury will mean a few minutes, you would imagine. Obviously no goals so far. And Tottenham just probing away here, trying to see if they can fashion an opportunity. Romero just crosses the halfway line on the right, finds Porro. Now Kulusevski tight to that right hand touchline for Spurs. Curls it infield for Davies. Now Son on the edge of the Forest box. Can he get a run at Williams? Now goes inside again, Bissouma. Great work way out of possession by Forest here to keep Tottenham at bay. Udogie playing very, very high this evening, both Tottenham fullbacks, Pedro Porro and Destiny Udogie, trying to get in on the action, see if they can create something, cause a problem for Forest. And we will have 4 extra minutes here at the City Ground before Jared Chile blows his half-time whistle. Son again looks to get away from Nico Williams. Udogie will go on the overlap, but it's a wasted ball by Son. Asked just a bit too much of Destiny Udogie there, and Matt Williams will come out, sweep up. Steve Cooper just barking some instructions to his players as we edge towards the break, making sure no one switches off before the interval. Given their situation, he knows a goal against could have a very damaging impact on their confidence. Spurs do have a free kick here. Alanga clattering into Davies under a high ball, and they get it restarted quickly. They'll look to advance down the right hand side as Pedro Porro checks it onto his left foot into the box. Richarlison! Goal for Tottenham. Heartbreak for Nottingham Forest right before the half-time break. Pedro Porro with the burst down the right-hand side, checked in field, little layoff to Dejan Kulusevski, whipped into the 18-yard box, and there is Richarlison. 3 goals in 2 Premier League games for the Tottenham number 9, and his first back-to-back Premier League goals as a Tottenham player, and that is a fantastic header from the Brazilian international. Tottenham's quick free kick caught Forest napping. Porro with the original ball down the right-hand side, finds Kulusevski onto his left foot, whips that into the 18-yard box. Richarlison's just there ahead of the 2 Nottingham Forest defenders. It was Bolly and Williams trying to cover on the right-hand side for Forest. And Richarlison is there before Turner. Brave header, and it is in the back of the Nottingham Forest net. And Steve Cooper finds himself facing an enormous task to rally his Nottingham Forest team. Brilliant header from Richarlison. And that goal, you'd imagine, will ramp up the stakes for Steve Cooper at the break. As the cliche goes, it's a terrible time to concede a goal. It really is for Nottingham Forest. They've worked so hard to ensure that Tottenham were restricted to mostly half chances, but just caught out of shape from the free kick. Pace of Porro, and then a brilliant cross from Dejan Kulusevski. Just stepped in on his left foot, spotted the run of Richarlison. 1-0 Tottenham. But 1 minute of added time still to play. Be a few seconds added on, you'd imagine, after that Richarlison goal. How can Steve Cooper and Nottingham Forest react? That will be the key question over the break. And Postecoglou will be delighted that his team have got their noses in front. It's been a pretty tight opening 45 minutes here in Nottingham. The attacking quality that the visitors do have mean that if Richarlison gets a chance and Dejan Kulusevski gets that sort of space to deliver, there's always potential that's going to end up in the back of the net, and that is exactly what has happened here. Jared Gile just having a quick look at his watch. There's a few seconds left as Williams does well to beat Son to that ball down the Forest right. Gibbs White loses out to Bissouma. Here's Son drifting in field. There's Pape Sarr. They switch back over to the left hand side to a doggy deep inside the Nottingham Forest half. Well, Tottenham under no pressure now to score again before the break. Happy to just tick away the final few seconds. The Sarr just holds on to possession in the centre circle. Steve Cooper has so many big calls to make in the next 15 minutes or so. Does he change it up? Does he try to add a bit more attacking thrust to the team? But that always carries the risks that Tottenham can just sucker punch his side, and another defeat will mean some big questions asked of him over the weekend. And that is it for the first half here at the City Ground on Flashscore UK. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 1. Just one Premier League win in 12 for Steve Cooper's side. And he faces an uphill battle to get them back into this one. Half time at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 1. whistle. Richarlison with a bullet of a header from Dejan Kulusevski's cross. And that is the difference as it stands. And as it stands, Nottingham Forest are on course to extend their poor form of just one win in 12, which could become one win in 13. And Steve Cooper might find himself looking for a new job before the start of 2024. But both Cooper and his players have a chance to rectify it in the second half. He stuck to his guns, kept faith with the 11 that went in at the break behind, and they have themselves an early chance here in the second period. Cheick Kouyaté battling away with Christian Romero on the halfway line. Argentinian brings him down, and it'll be a free kick about 5 or 10 yards inside the Tottenham half, left hand side. Harry Toffolo to take, and this is an opportunity for Forest to get players in the box, cause a problem for Spurs. Toffolo to take on the left hand side, curled in, headed away by Pedro Porro. To waste from the Nottingham Forest perspective that it was an opportunity to test Tottenham at the start of this second period. Porro stuck to his task and made sure Bolly and the rest of the Forest big hitters who'd come up from the back did not have an opportunity. But they'll come again here from the opposite side as Williams wins a throw from Udogie. Musa Nkati will jog across about 25 yards out here on the right for Nkati. He might pinch himself a couple of yards to get this throw in a bit further into the Tottenham box. Goes in towards Bolly. Davies is there first though. And Pape Sarr will almost nick it ahead of Nico Williams, but Williams did well to win that 50-50. Romero beats Gibbs White to it, and then Kouyaté flattens the doggy, but Elanga will look to curl that one into Bolly, and Bolly's got a bit of space here in the box. Miles over the top from the Nottingham Forest centre-back. He has his head in his hands, and that ball is caught by one of the Nottingham Forest fans behind the goal, because that was the definition of a centre-back's finish. Acres of space for Bolly as he just stayed forward from the Nkati throw-in. Elanga clips the ball into him just inside the Tottenham box. He's got all the time in the world to keep that down and force a stave from Beccario, and it is blazed over the top. Big miss from the Forest centre-back, and Steve Cooper's face is not amused. Changes afoot, you would imagine, from Cooper if the score stays the same, but no movement on the Forest bench just yet. Here's Sarr looking to drop back onto the halfway line and take possession from Christian Romero. Back with Romero now. He feeds that one into Richarlison, who tries to dummy it through to Oliver Skipp. It's eventually gathered in by Matt Turner. It's a dicey turn on the edge of his own box by Oriol Mangala. Not sure if he wanted that pass from Matt Turner, but he did well to dodge a couple of Tottenham tackles and keep the ball. Did very well there, as he was asked to do the same again in a tight spot. The Forest will come forward here. Langer broke the Spurs offside trap, but Beccario got there first. The flag is eventually up for offside. We've had a few delayed offside shouts this evening coming against both teams. I think Elanga had strayed beyond Ben Davies there, but Beccario was sharp when he needed to be. .52 minutes gone here at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 1. The pressure continues to grow on Steve Cooper's position. You have to say this result, if it was to stay the same, or if Forest were to able to find an equaliser, it would follow their recent pattern. They're bottom of the recent form table, just 1 point, 5 Premier League games. No Premier League team has gained less than them in that window. Steve Cooper badly needs something to change this evening if he's to keep himself in a position. And even the thousands of Forest fans who want him to stay will inevitably start asking questions if things don't change sooner rather than later. As Porro picks himself up from a heavy challenge from Forest defender there, but he's back on his feet, seems okay. Will be a free kick to Tottenham, but it's quickly given away, and Forest will win a throw on the left hand side this time. But Nkati is on duty once more, goes deep into the Tottenham box, is headed on by Gibbs White, but Romero will see that behind for a goal kick. Just keep an eye on Pedro Porro here, because he is in some pain after that challenge. Ange Postecoglou already losing Brennan Johnson in the first period. A nasty head injury for the Wales international. No update on his condition just yet. If we do get any news on that, I will keep you informed, but his return to Nottingham was cut short. Oliver Skipp sent on in his place. Pedro Porro is back and in the midst of the action, but still trying to shake off the effects of a pretty heavy challenge that he suffered there a few moments ago. It's his throw-in that's turned over by Forest. Kouyaté back to Toffolo, but Richarlison will make the block and force it all the way back for a Forest goal kick. There is options on the substitute bench for Steve Cooper if he does want to try and bring someone on to maybe get a goal or add to what he's already got out there. Chris Wood, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Divock Origi. Origi still awaiting his first goal as a Nottingham Forest player, but Elanga will make strides down the left here and force a corner for Forest. Real positive stuff from the Sweden international. He stop-started his run against Porro. Porro stuck with him. And eventually Romero gets across to back up his right back and concede the corner. As Gibbs White will come over and take. 54 minutes gone. A chance here for Gibbs White to load this one into the Tottenham box. Only managed one goal from a set piece this season. That's the joint lowest alongside Burnley and Crystal Palace, but Gibbs White will try and whip one in here to the near post. Headed away. Pape Sarr on duty there for Tottenham. Easily dealt with. Well, Gibbs White will come again from the return ball. Gets away from Sarr. He's appealing for a free kick there, and Gillet agrees. I think Sarr just bundled Gibbs White to the floor there on the left hand side, just past the Spurs 18-yard line, so this will be an interesting position to get a free kick from. Sarr did have a handful of Gibbs White's shirt. It's booking for Sarr. Gibbs White will take responsibility of this one, to take it right-footed. It's a narrow angle. Don't think he'll go for the shot, but he's perfectly capable of whizzing this one into the far post and giving Bolly and Kate and others a chance to go for it. It's curled in, punched away by Vicario. Really dominant piece of goalkeeping there. Those red shirts piling in front of him, but he only had eyes for the ball, dealt with it really, really well. Forest will try and turn that back in, but Udogie deals with it. Cleared all the way downfield. Richarlison goes herring after Nico Williams, fouls him, but referee waves play on as Forest look to get forward. Gibbs White will keep that alive on the dead ball line, but he's eventually whistled. I think that went out of play. Gibbs White not happy with that. He thought he'd resurrected the situation, but no dice from Jared Gillet. Tottenham get themselves restarted here. Romero just neatly looking to tee that one forward to Porro, but Porro is squeezed and pressured and forced backwards. It's a poor ball forward from Porro. Spotted the run of Sarr, but he didn't get enough curl on it, and Forest will pick that up with Nkati. Romero's forced to concede a throw. Gives Porro a little look there, Romero. Wasn't happy with the slack pass. Spurs immediately win that one back from the throw and get themselves a throw in again. Toffolo sliding in front of Sarr. Porro again for Tottenham. Quick 1-2 from the throw to get them back on the road. Goes all the way across to the left hand side to Son. Turns that one in field to Kulusevski, but he loses out to Mangala. Now Koyate looking to get Forest into the Tottenham half. Switches it over to the left hand side to Gibbs White. Toffolo on the charge outside him, but he goes back in field to Mangala. Charlison will look to put the squeeze on. It's a long one forward from the Forest backline to Toffolo. He's very advanced from left wing back now. Goes in field to Mangala. Curls that over to the right hand side. Now Williams will try and cross one into the box, and it's in the back of the net for Forest. Equaliser. It's Anthony Elanga for the home side, and they are back in business here at the City Ground. Fine ball into the box from Nico Williams. Spurs defenders not spotting the run of Anthony Elanga. He gets there first. Back of the net for Forest. And it is 1-1 at the City Ground. 4th Premier League goal of the season for Anthony Elanga. I do think we'll have a VAR check here. Forest did well to switch play quickly from left to right. And I think this could be ruled out for offside. There's 3 Forest players potentially in offside position. Koyate, Elanga and Toffolo all look to be the wrong side of Christian Romero, and the celebrations might be cut short. VAR are checking this, and to the naked eye he does look offside. Koyate and Toffolo most definitely offside in the middle of the Spurs box, but is Elanga in an offside position? That is the key question here for David Coote and Tim Wood. VAR tonight. City Ground waits patiently to see the outcome of this one. Charagile just asking the players to step away, give them a moment. But I do think that this goal is going to be looked at, and it's a very tight call. 2 players certainly offside, but Elanga is very tight. As I say, first glance, it looks as if he's gone just a little bit too early, but Jarry Gillett is taking his time here as we tick towards the hour mark. He's going to make a decision. And it is a goal given. Sorry. No, he's gone for no. My mistake. He initially looked as if he was giving the signal for the goal, but it is no goal. VAR ruling out Anthony Elanga's equaliser for Nottingham Forest. No goal. It remains 1-0 to Spurs as we hit the hour mark here at the City Ground. Jared Gillett took his time on that. It does look as if it was the right call. Steve Cooper rallying the Nottingham Forest crowd after that one. He knows he's going to need all the help he can get in this final 30 minutes, plus whatever will be added on. And that was a chance for Forest. Very smart finish from Elanga. Just falling foul of the video technology, and Tottenham will need to be aware, particularly the threat of Toffolo on the left and Nico Williams on the right hand side. Tottenham will get us back underway here. Bissouma to Udogie. Back with Bissouma inside the centre circle. Haven't posed much of a threat in the second period, Tottenham. With more chances before the break. Son, Johnson, both causing problems for Forest, but so far they've been kind of sitting on this 1-0 lead. Here comes Son down the left. He looks to curl that one in towards Richarlison. An opposite angle from the situation where Richarlison put Tottenham in front. That's Kulusevski in from the right hand side. Son to tee up the Brazilian from the opposite flank, but cleared away by Bolly. Tottenham come again here. Pape Sarr down the right to Kulusevski. Toffolo forces him back to Porro. Now Romero. Tottenham just looking to slow the pace of this down now for a few minutes after that Forest goal that was chalked off. Porro with the attempted cross, but it's blocked by Murillo down deep on the Spurs right hand side, almost by the right hand corner flag for Tottenham. Kouyaté comes across and just deals with that up against Kulusevski. Porro will go for the quick throw into Kulusevski, and it's helped on by Kulusevski. Mangala with the block, falls for Son. Can he fashion an angle for a shot? Richarlison almost on the end of that one. It's Murillo, I think, who got back in the end. We'll touch back on that in just a second, because Spurs are going to keep pushing here. Son chased down over the far side and tackled by Nico Williams. That was an opportunity. Dejan Kulusevski tried everything to keep that throw alive inside the box, just gathered it in with his long legs. Shot blocked by Mangala. Son had a go, Richarlison had a go. Neither managed to trouble Matt Turner, but the sign of life from the visitors. Tottenham will come again here now, so Forest just looking to dig in for a few minutes, make sure they don't concede again. Fed over to the left hand side to Son once more. He'll swing it all the way to the right hand side to Kulusevski. Now Sarr on the edge of the Forest box, one back by Forest. Mangala tried to pick the ball forward to Elanga, but Ben Davies gets there first on halfway. Sarr just pops that one off in a central area to Bissouma. Back with Son. Steers that across the edge of the 18-yard box to Richarlison. Work it wide to the right to Porro, who puts it back into Son. It's an easy gather for Matt Turner, who's off balance. Tottenham captain. Murillo immediately onto him as he tried to gather that pass in from Pedro Porro. Matt Turner makes a save. Turner's given it away as he tried to clear. Dejan Kulusevski will pick that up and look to get the run on Nakati inside the box, and it's a goal for Spurs. Mistake from Matt Turner, punished by Dejan Kulusevski, and Tottenham are 2-0 in front. Seconds after that save from Son Heung-min, Matt Turner gives it away. Who's trying the attempted long clearance out to Harry Toffolo, cut out by Dejan Kulusevski. On he goes into the Nottingham Forest box. Drops the shoulder past Moussa Nakate, and he smashes it into the roof of the net. No chance for Matt Turner, and Nottingham Forest are 2 down at the City Ground. All stems from that mistake from Matt Turner. Just tried to be too ambitious with the ball out. Nakate tries to squeeze the angle as Dejan Kulusevski comes into the Forest box down this right. Kulusevski took it early, goes to the near post, slams into the roof of the net. Possible question marks about Turner's position in there. He set himself to make the block, but it's gone through his hands. It was a hell of a strike from Dejan Kulusevski. 5th Premier League goal of the season for him. But the initial error from Turner, and then a fairly weak-wristed attempt at keeping it out at the back of the net. And Forest are 2 down, 65 minutes gone on Flash Score UK. Richarlison and Kulusevski for the visitors, as Steve Cooper's misery continues to deepen here at the City Ground. Forest looking to immediately get themselves moving in a positive direction. Bolly just tosses that forward, general direction of Elanga, but Ben Davies deals with that. Romero and Davies have been very efficient this evening in dealing with the threat of Gibbs-White and Elanga. That goal for Elanga ruled out by offside, coming from a cross from the right wing from Nico Williams, but the direct passes up from Bolly and Nikate. Davies and Romero have won the day so far. And here is Davies bursting forward down the left-hand side, going back to his left-back days, but he's stopped short by Mangala. That'll be a free kick to Forest. Steve Cooper is going to turn to his bench. Just over 20 minutes left to go here at the City Ground. Chris Wood and Danilo are the players, stripped and ready to come on. Can they launch a survival for Nottingham Forest? 2 goals down, staring the potential of another defeat. Those 2 changes confirmed. 22 minutes still to play here. Danilo and Chris Wood on. And it is Willy Bolly withdrawn. That'll be a straight swap, you'd imagine, for Danilo. Check Koyate off for Chris Wood. We'll just keep an eye on how that reshuffles the Forest team, as deep free kick launched in to the Tottenham half by Nico Williams, but it's dealt with by the Spurs defence. And Danilo concedes a throw. That's his first act. Chris Wood, you'd imagine, will be sent on straight through the middle of the Nottingham Forest attack. Gibbs-White on one side, Anthony Elanga on the other. Danilo has gone into midfield, so there's going to be changes all over here, but Forest have pounced on an attack here, and Gibbs-White almost able to feed in Elanga inside the box. Back to Danilo. It's over the top from the substitute. There's been a booking in the middle of all that for Yves Bissouma. Ryan Yates won the tussle initially to put Forest in with a shout of creating a chance, and that's a nasty catch from Yves Bissouma. Skidding, bouncing ball, and he comes really high on Ryan Yates, and I think Jared Gile might be advised to go and have a second look at that. That's a very poor challenge from Yves Bissouma. Goes over the ball, catches Ryan Yates on the knee, and Jared Gile is being advised to go and take a look at this. And Yves Bissouma could find himself in a spot of bother. The replay is not pretty. It was a loose touch from Bissouma. He tried to win it back. It's gone over the ball on Yates. That skidded into Gibbs-White, who couldn't find Anthony Elanga with the pass inside the box, but the attention is not on the goal-scoring chance anymore. It's on that very poor challenge from Yves Bissouma on Ryan Yates. Forest captain still in pain. He's back on his feet. Yves Bissouma could be looking at a second red card of the season. Sent off in the 1-0 win over Luton back in October. That was 2 yellows. What will Jared Gile do here? All eyes on the referee. Going to his pocket. He's annulling the yellow card because it is a red for Yves Bissouma. He's off. Tottenham number 8 shown a straight red card. And Ange Postecoglou's charges are down to 10 for the final 19 minutes. Bissouma not happy with the decision, as you'd imagine, but with the benefit of a couple of replays, I don't think he has too much of a case. Ange Postecoglou with a shake of the head there. Not sure if that's directed towards the referee or his own player. Can this be an opportunity for Forest to benefit from. Bissouma off straight down the tunnel. And immediately Ange Postecoglou is going to go for a change. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg stripped and ready to come on. Richarlison, the player sacrificed. Postecoglou looking to stiffen up that midfield. Bissouma off, sent off. Højbjerg on. He'll go into that midfield hole, and Kulusevski and Son will go into an attacking two. The chance here now for Forest. Danilo quickly into the action there as Tottenham get us back underway. Porro's ball forward blocked by the Brazilian. Danilo again battling away from another Spurs throw. Wins a throw of his own, which Toffolo will take. Just over the halfway line on the Forest left. Has to go back to Murillo, who goes back to Turner. Turner screaming at Murillo to send that one downfield, which he then does. A few nerves from the former Arsenal man after his mistake a moment ago. Gifted Tottenham a second goal of the night. Here comes Elanga now, looking to change things for Forest. He goes back to Toffolo, crosses block, falls for Yates. He'll shuffle it out to the right hand side to Williams, back into the box. Vicario sliding out, claims that one. Almost identical scenario to where Anthony Elanga had the ball in the back of the net before VAR ruled it out for offside. Williams on the far left hand corner of the Spurs box, low ball into penalty spot, and on that occasion there was no Forest player able to poke it home. Give me another booking here for another Spurs player, becoming a bit ragged here, and Postecoglou's side. Ben Davies this time, just a split second too late, getting there before Morgan Gibbs-White. Just catches him with a loose arm in the face. And free kick to Forest, 25 yards from goal, to the left hand side of Vicario's posts. This is within shooting range. Ben Davies' first caution of the season there. He's frustrated. He probably knows if he doesn't bring Gibbs-White down there, he's away into the Spurs box. So a sensible foul, an experienced defender. And it is going to be Gibbs-White to take this. Harry Toffolo with the left foot was an option, but Gibbs-White has now been called off it by Nico Williams. So it's going to be Williams to take the two chats over the free kick on the right. So Williams will take, curled in, dealt with well by the Spurs defence, and then looping volley deflects over Gibbs-White. Claim for the corner, gets it. Don't think that volley was ever going to be on target, but little nick off a Spurs defender means it's a set piece and an opportunity for Forest. Toffolo will go over to the right hand side to take this left footed. Toffolo has to deliver that one in, but Vicario gets there first, palms it away to the edge of the box. The Forest left. Elanga blocked off by Kulusevski. Be a throw in to Forest. 15 minutes left here at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 2. Nottingham Forest staring down the potential of their poor run extending on. One win in 12 in the Premier League coming into tonight's game. That Nikate throw in is dealt with well by Spurs. Forest win it back. Pedro Porro was a bit ponderous there. Mangala will pick up the loose ball here. Dead centre, finds Gibbs-White. Now Elanga. That layoff was cut out again by Spurs, who find Son. Son will look to sprint away over halfway. Great work there by the Tottenham captain to find Pape Sarr, but Williams tracks back down the Forest right to win that. Good play from Williams. Clearance is kept alive by Mangala. See, Forest did break that 4-game Premier League losing streak at Wolves last weekend. 1-1 against their Midlands rivals at Molineux. Things are not looking good tonight. Here is Williams looking to dink across into the Tottenham box, but Skip and Højbjerg combine to relieve the pressure. Then Mangala's reprimanded for a foul on Son. That'll be a free kick to Spurs. Tottenham happy to take their time over this one. No need for panic from Postecoglou and his players. They are down to 10 after that very poor challenge from East Bissouma resulted in a straight red. Malian international given his marching orders by Jara Gile, but Spurs still in control, you'd imagine. Forest not really asking the type of questions that Steve Cooper would want them to be, particularly when he knows his job could be on the line this evening. As Mangala just bundles over Pape Sarr, and halfway Tottenham will take another quick free kick to Son. He tries to release Kulusevski down the left. Kulusevski's cross blocked behind by Nico Williams. Plenty of running still in this Tottenham team. Third goal would kill off the contest, you'd imagine. They've got themselves a corner here now on the left hand side. Pedro Porro jogs over to take this one. Porro curls that one in deep into the Forest box, and Turner does well to come and claim. Forest looking to get out here through Ryan Yates, but Son tracks after him, brings him down. That's another booking for Tottenham. Forest want to get things moving quickly. Ryan Yates with the quick free kick, but the referee says hold your horses. There was a tangle in the box between Yates and Son before that foul. Maybe a little bit of retribution from Son. He thought he was pulled to the floor by the Forest skipper. Bit of captain on captain wrestling there. But it is Son who is cautioned for Tottenham. Just over 10 minutes of normal time here to go at the City Ground. Forest 0, Tottenham 2. And Forest have a half shout for a penalty here. Long ball forward. It's Destiny Udogie and Nico Williams colliding on the far side of the Tottenham box. Udogie is down, feeling his thigh. He's claiming that Williams classed into him. Williams is pleading the opposite. It's been shown the replay on the screens here, and it does look as if Nico Williams is in the wrong. Udogie just adjusts his position to get his body in the way. Williams dives straight into him. That's a pretty straightforward call for the referee. Here comes Williams again, looking to get himself past Oliver Skip down the Forest right, but Skip does well, goes to the ground but keeps the ball. Now he finds Son. Pace from Son to get away from 2 Forest tackles, but he's eventually caught up with by Mangala. And Williams will fire that one long from right back over to the right left hand side, but Porro stays stride for stride with Elanga and deals with it. It's back in field to Højbjerg. Now Skip, who just skips away from that tackle. He'll forgive a little Friday night joke onto Kulusevski, who dart into the Forest box, and Kulusevski with a strike. Turner did well. Forest 0, Tottenham 1. Just one Premier League win in 12 for Steve. Kulusevski went for the near post. Credit to Turner to get back across and make the save. That error for the second goal will surely be on his mind, but that was an important stop from the American international, keeping it at 2-0 as it stands. Forest will look to ride again down the left hand side now with Elanga on towards the 18-yard box, gets past Porro. Elanga's cross scooped up by Vicario. Miscue there from the former Manchester United man. Vicario will just roll that one out to Davies, onto Sarr. Really calm, playing out from the back from Spurs there. Vicario finds Porro, but he's brought down by Murillo. Cards are starting to rack up here. It's a booking for the Nottingham Forest number 40. It's late on Porro there. A handshake from the Brazilian on Spanish fullback. Came steaming in on him as he was trying to recover and make sure that he didn't get away. There is going to be another change from Steve Cooper. Callum Hudson-Odoi for Oriol Mangales, an attacking switch for the home team. Cooper looking to get as many potential goal scorers or goal creators on the pitch as he can. It's Tottenham who have possession from that free kick. Son will dart through the centre of the pitch, feeds it off to Oliver Skip. Over to the right to Porro. Kulusevski. Porro made the run in behind. Kulusevski opted against it, and Danilo will win that back for Forest. Home side have got a chance now. Here's Callum Hudson-Odoi down the right. Nice ball in field to Gibbs-White. Feeds it on again to the left to Elanga. Gets past Porro, crossed into the box, headed away by Davies. Falls nicely for Williams. He can hit this one. Saved by Vicario. Good effort from Nico Williams. Kept it down. Zipping across the turf. It's actually a touch off a Spurs defender before Vicario touches it. Romero with the nick. And it is round the corner for a Forest corner. 6 minutes to go. Gibbs-White will take this right-footed from the left-hand side. Curled deep into the Tottenham box, headed down, but it's cleared off the line by Christian Romero. Forest will try and come again. That's another corner. There's a combination of Vicario and Romero that kept that one out. It's actually a very good stop from Vicario. There was legs everywhere for Tottenham on the goal line. It's Vicario with the crucial touch. Forest will come again here. Toffolo this time from the opposite side. Chris Wood looking to make a nuisance of himself in front of Vicario. Toffolo hangs that one into the box. It's headed wide by Gibbs-White. Disappointment for the Forest number 10 on his 100th Premier League appearance. Got away from his marker, but maybe a little bit unexpected that it came to him. Two real moments of frustration for Forest inside 60 seconds. Toffolo clambering with Christian Romero, and Vicario denied. And then Morgan Gibbs-White just flashing that header past the post, but break in play here as Murillo barrels into Oliver Skip. Tottenham players potentially asking for a second yellow card for Murillo here. That's not nice to see. Referee just reminding everyone involved that he will make these decisions. He is calling Murillo over for a little chat. Don't think it will be any more than that. A foul on Skip, but not a dangerous act from Murillo. Just both of them going for the ball. Catches Skip on the top of the foot. Free kick to Spurs. Romero will hoof that one long, and it's dealt with by the Forest defence, and offside flag is up against Kulusevski. Two captains are at it again here, Son Heung-min and Ryan Yates. Referee just stepping in, trying to cool things, telling Son that the situation is over, dealt with. Forest have just over 2 minutes of normal time to find a way back into this game and avoid extending their form to one Premier League win in 13. And it will be a 5th Premier League defeat in 6 as well, just to emphasise that point of the struggles currently felt here by Steve Cooper. There's Danilo looking to slide one across the left hand side to Elanga. It's immediately doubled up on by Kulusevski and Porro on the edge of the box, but Danilo will hang one in. That's drift all the way through for a goal kick. Ryan Yates made the run in behind. There's too much on the ball from Danilo. Spurs will let the seconds tick away here. Son is going to be replaced for the final minute or so. Christian Romero taking over the armband. And Postecoglou potentially just looking to pull his captain out of the fire. He was booked just a few minutes ago, and he's been having a running battle with Ryan Yates ever since. 10 Premier League goals so far this season. Postecoglou cannot afford to lose him. It's going to be Emerson Royale that comes on for a little cameo here at the City Ground. Don't think he'll be playing up front, but we'll wait and see. Spurs get back underway with it. Long goal kick from Vicario. Williams just eases Pape Sarr off that one over in the right back spot for Forest. A throw in to the home side. Is Murillo just advancing up towards the halfway line, drives that one across to the right to Yates. Now on to Hudson-Odoi, who looked to get past Udogie and cross one in, finds Gibbs White, finds Toffolo, but it's eventually knocked behind by Anthony Elanga. Mix up in communication there between Toffolo and Elanga. Good ball in from the right hand side from Hudson-Odoi. Gibbs White made the first move. It was just a comedy of errors here, really. Toffolo thought about the header, got the shout from Elanga, probably too late. The effort is just skewed wide by Elanga. Steve Cooper just wipes his face in frustration. He knows that that was an opportunity to maybe set up a bit of a tense finale here. 20 seconds to go in the 90. We'll have the board up in just a moment. Let us know how much added time there will be as Elanga tries to make amends. So race in here behind Pedro Porro, checks back onto his right, crosses into the box, headed down by Pape Sarr, and Emerson will complete the job. He's crunched into by Toffolo, and it's a really unnecessary foul from the Forest left wing back, and another card. It's 2-4 Forest tonight. Murillo and Toffolo. 3-4 bookings for Spurs. Son, Sarr, Udogie and Davies. And that red card to Yves Bissouma. Tottenham fans will be interested to know that if it is a 3-game ban imposed on him, then they will not see him again until the start of 2024. Everton at home next weekend, trip to Brighton on December the 28th, and then a New Year's Eve date at home to Bournemouth. You've got 8 minutes added on here, 8 minutes for Nottingham Forest to potentially create something. They do not want the ball being passed around amongst their centre-backs, that's for sure. Bolly looks to Slide it forward to Nico Williams, just over the halfway line on the Forest right. Now on to Hudson-Odoi, who'll dash inside, trapped by a doggy. Well dealt with by Spurs, and Skip will gallop forward into the Forest half. Finds Højbjerg, who gets his studs on the ball, slows things down. Tottenham happy to just maintain possession, roll the clock down. Pape Sarr back to Højbjerg, on into the box now. There's a chance for Spurs here for Højbjerg if he can sort his feet out. Finds Porro. Porro with the strike. Deflected over the bar by Murillo. Tottenham were almost unwilling to have a shot at goal there. They were sticking to the plan of wasting a few minutes down in the corner, but opportunity presented itself. Højbjerg couldn't get a strike away. Finds Porro. And that is brave piece of defending there from Murillo to head it over his own bar. Spurs will have a set piece. Højbjerg to take. I think he'll go for the short one with Skip and to tick away a few seconds. Forest immediately win it back off Skip in the far right hand corner from a Tottenham perspective. Be a free throw into the home side on halfway, cleared by Toffolo. Steve Cooper's face is deep in thought. He knows that tonight could signal the end of his time in charge. Bournemouth at home next weekend is the next date in the diary for him and his players. 8 days can be a long time in Premier League football. One manager who won't be too concerned heading into the Christmas period, Ange Postecoglou. Tottenham on the brink of back-to-back Premier League wins. Injury list that is showing some signs of improvement as we head towards 2024. A win tonight means that Tottenham will end the weekend in 5th. Manchester United will not change that regardless of their result at Anfield. They're 6 points behind Postecoglou's team as it stands. Forest look to get forward again. Gibbs, White, Yates working hard on the right hand side to keep possession, and Williams arrows that one across to Elanga, who get past Skip, get past Porro and win a corner from Porro. Shoulder to shoulder there with Elanga and Porro, and Porro with the challenge, and Forest will have a corner. Gibbs White comes across to take. He's ushering as many Forest players forward as he can. It's a packed 18-yard box waiting for this Gibbs White delivery. Curls it into the near post, headed away by Højbjerg. Forest will come again. Gibbs, Hudson-Odoi will curl that one in, falls for Nikate and eventually for Elanga. Smuggled behind by Vicario. Flag is up against Elanga for offside, but Vicario with the save nonetheless. A pinball inside the Spurs box there, and eventually made its way through to Elanga. Casual finish from him. It would not have counted either way. Forest immediately win possession back from Spurs. They are pushing for something, some positivity, a goal, something to take away from this at full time, as Hudson-Odoi looks to drive down the left. Feeds it infield all the way across to Morgan Gibbs-White. Thought about the shot. Gibbs-White blocked by Højbjerg. Now Skip looking to build his way out and ease the pressure on Spurs in these final few seconds. Comes down the right to Kulusevski, who'll volley that on to Skip, who's continued his run. He's all alone here, Skip, as he goes into the Forest box. Ball across, won't reach Sarr. Sarr just clips Nikate there. Be a free kick to Forest. 2 minutes of the additional 8 to go. Turner just plays it into midfield, into Danilo, to find angle to feed that through the Spurs defensive shield. He goes all the way out to the left to Elanga, who'll again look to get a run on Porro. Tipped into the box, headed down at the far post, falls for Nico Williams. He'll get a strike at goal, saved by Vicario and thundered behind by Romero. Stayed alive in these final few minutes, Vicario, and is determined to keep a clean sheet. And ever present for Spurs this season, the Italian. Undoubtedly Ange Postecoglou's number one in between the posts. And if it stays as it is, it'll be his first clean sheet in 8 Premier League games. Throw in, hurled into the Spurs box, nicked away by Porro. He gets there before Danilo, but Elanga will beat him to the second ball. Now back on halfway with Williams. So close just a moment ago there to finding something for Forest, but Vicario did well to turn it onto the upright. Now Elanga again down the left. Can he find a way past Porro? Not this time. Porro gets back, gets his body in. Another good shift from Pedro Porro for Spurs this evening. His ball downfield will be kept alive by Kulusevski, who'll just run and run and run, but Williams will win that back. Kulusevski won't give it up easy. Finds Højbjerg. Nice little flick round the corner to keep Spurs moving down into that far corner, and Williams has no choice but to slide across and concede a corner to Tottenham. We really are into final few seconds territory. There is going to be a late change. Masked Crusader Dejan Kulusevski. Assist for Richarlison's opener, and then second goal, which is likely to decide this contest. He's going to be given standard ovation from those travelling Spurs fans. Super cross from Richarlison, and then the error from Matt Turner ruthlessly punished by him. There's going to be a few seconds of action for the Argentinian youngster Alejo Beliz. And it is just a few seconds of action, because that is it. Full-time whistle blown by Jared Gillet. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 2. Successive Premier League wins for Ange Postecoglou's side. But the big story tonight again focuses on Nottingham Forest. Just one Premier League win in their last 13, and they have lost again. A 5th Premier League defeat in their last 6 games, as Steve Cooper stands on the brink of the potential sack. Full time here from Flashcore UK at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 2.